China has catapulted to one of the world's top economies using its manufacturing prowess. But with manufacturing on the decline and a slowing economy, the country looks to new areas to boost growth. At the top of the list, innovation. China sees innovation in areas of technology, science, agriculture and energy as the way forward for the country's economic future. Here to explain China's ambitious growth plan, we're joined now by CCTV's Wang joins us from Beijing. And Hui, China has implemented its 5-year plan on innovation and knowledge growth in recent days. What are the highlights of that plan?
Well, the State Council has published a national plan for progress in science and technology. It lists a set of targets as well as government actions. The plan aims to substantially improve China's technology and innovation abilities. The plan also targets to lift the country's comprehensive innovation capabilities into the world's top 15 by 2020 from last year's 18th place. It also aims to have knowledge-intensive services account for 20% of GDP by 2020, up from less than 16% last year. In the plan, the country pledged greater input for research areas with high economic potential, such as computer chips, digital machinery, and nuclear power. The plan also highlights several cutting-edge areas for national strength and security interest, such as space science, deep-sea exploration, and artificial intelligence. The plan covers some research areas that had previously been sidelined, such as urban planning technology, eco-friendly infrastructure, and natural disaster early warnings. The State Council says to ensure effectively implementation of the plan, it will make efforts to strengthen legal protection on innovation, improve inclusive and supporting policy system, and implement intellectual property rights strategies.
Now, China's economy has been in a slowdown recently, and the government and private industry see innovation as the new frontier. How will innovation spur China's economy?
Well, China is in the midst of a large-scale economic restructuring to shift its growth pattern. But the traditional incentives that have driven the country's economic miracle, such as cheap manpower and intensive government spending, are lapsing. The plan puts high expectations for science and technology to create new businesses, upgrade industries, and provide more jobs. One effort the document emphasizes is to remove barriers between the academe and the market. China was late to introduce market forces to research areas, as the country had been a planned economy for decades. Even today, many of the universities and institutes are public funded and are cautious about walking too close with business. With this new plan, the country is set to create direct and close link between scientists and enterprises, so research projects can gain diverse funding outside government budgets, and the new technology can find customers more easily. Another point I would like to mention is that the Chinese government does not only use science and technology to develop economy, but also uses to deal with the fast pace of change in Chinese society and the problems that accompany it. The Chinese government used to focus on the speed and efficiency of economic growth. But as I mentioned earlier, now much of the plan addresses research areas to improve people's living conditions. This has revealed an interesting shift in the government.
Thanks, Wei. That's CCTV's Wang Hui reporting from Beijing. For more on China's push for innovation, Wanqing joins us from Beijing. He is Vice Chairman for China Computer Federation Young Computer Scientists and Engineer Forum. Via Skype from Austria, Wu Jun is a venture capitalist with Amino Capital and author of Artificial Intelligence Era. From California, Carmen Chang is a partner and managing director of the Asia program with New Enterprise Associates. And with me in the studio, Joanna Lewis is a professor of science, technology, and international affairs at Georgetown University, right here in Washington, D.C. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Let's go to Beijing. Wanqing, China is a country that's experienced several decades of very robust economic growth. But right now, it's experiencing an economic slowdown. It's a time right now to change tactics, introduce new strategies. And the path that China is embarking on is to become the world's innovation engine. How difficult is it going to be for the country to make this transition from being the world's factory to becoming the world's innovation engine?
Okay, you can see this is a natural development. In the past 30 years of when China has opened its door to the world, also the start of the reform, we got a very high speed of the economic development. Right now, we are the second largest economy in the world. In the past years, decades, China is named as a world's factory. But right now, so it is just the time that if we come back to see that the last 5 years, we call the 12 5-year plan, China has got many breakthroughs in the science and technology development. We can see the manned space plan and also the lunar probe, also the high-speed railway, also the supercomputers. And it is just the time that for a big country like China that's to speed up and accelerate its innovation to make the right turn. That's the innovation of the science and technology is the most important engine for the next phase of this country to go into the, we call the value chain, the high end of the value chain. So it is just like what we have done in the last decades. That's most important. It is the first time that China government put the science tech innovation. It's important that innovation is the first time they put into the national plan. So it is difficult, but it is just in time that China is going to this right turn, and it's a choice for this big economy.
Wu
Okay,
Jun,
that's my thought.
right. Wu Jun, this is an ambitious plan. How do you see it unfold in the years ahead? We just heard from our reporter about the 5-year plan on innovation and knowledge growth. How do you think these initiatives will boost China's innovative growth?
I would say it will give actually the industry to convert the old style economy to the new one. I mean, in the next 5 years, I would say this plan will focus on translation instead of just innovation. How to use the new technology to convert it to new services and new products, not just for innovation, scientific research, but to change the structure of economy. So that I think that's the focus in the next 5 years. It's my understanding of this plan.
Carmen, China's tech sector has been criticized in the past. It's been criticized for taking ideas from Silicon Valley here in the United States and using them in China. But have we got to the point now where China's got past that? It can innovate on its own?
Well, I think China's been innovating for quite a while. I think in large part because, with the advent of the internet, you have a situation in which China, because it really didn't have a lot of the legacy industries, a lot of the so-called bricks and mortars, China was able to, was able to really leap ahead in many ways in terms of innovation in the internet sector. And then in particular, because China really didn't have the vast copper-based infrastructure, so that China had to, in a sense, leapfrog more into the mobile era more quickly than in the West. So based upon the fact that China's didn't really have a lot of legacy from the past, it was able to develop a much more quickly into a mobile economy and into innovating in different industries. So for example, China's messaging system through the internet, China's e-commerce is in many ways much more advanced, both in terms of technical capability as well as innovative business plans. So I would say that you see an acceleration today of innovation in China because these internet companies, these great internet companies in China, are beginning to throw off or beginning to enable China to have a group of young entrepreneurs that Similar to the U.S., I mean, a lot of U.S. innovation and startups are from people that left Google or Apple and started their own companies. And you have that today in China. For the first time, I would say in the last 4 to 5 years, you see for the first time what we call serial entrepreneurs. You know, a new generation of entrepreneurs in China starting companies who have started their startup, who had built startups, who then also went into Alibaba or Tencent or Baidu. You know, their companies were purchased by those companies. Then they will work in these large corporations for sometimes 7 years, 8 years, and then they will come out and build new startups. And that ecosystem is building up in China today, and I can see it pretty clearly. And as a U.S. investor looking at China, we're very excited about that.
Joanna, the United States has been a major worldwide innovator. Are there any lessons for China here from the U.S. experience?
Well, I think there's a few things that the United States does well that China may try to emulate. I mean, first of all, the United States is good at supporting technologies at all stages of development, so has a very strong support for basic research, which, you know, often you can't tell there's going to be commercial value at that stage, but is very important for supporting the scientific enterprise. I think also the United States government has been pretty good at moving technologies through what we call the valley of death. So when you sort of have interesting innovations in the laboratory, how do you get those out into the field and commercialize them? So in the energy sector, for example, there's many innovative programs at the Department of Energy where you support high-risk technologies that could have high payoff. I think the other thing the United States does well is support these ecosystems of innovation. So we have these Silicon Valleys and Route 128 where you have universities working side by side with startups and private sector entrepreneurs, and that creates, I think, a very rich environment for innovating and inventing new technologies.
Wanqing, China wants to be the innovation powerhouse by 2020, as we've been reporting. How is the Chinese government supporting that aim?
Yeah, so for this is a very long plan right now that we set it up. Actually, China government has set up investigation that's invited 8,000 scientists to do the evaluation and do the plan. And so I think there's several angles. First, that government is the first time that's noticed that the science and technology is quite different. For the scientific research, so government will put more to encourage the original innovations and also give the free and also the more fund and the way how to support and set up the management mechanism that's encourage the scientists to the original research and innovation, but not only on to the just like a paper publication, and also will in the other hand, government will encourage that and set up the mechanism that push the enterprise as the major power and the powerhouse to to implement the innovations to match the stressing needs from the strategic, like national security, like the people's livelihood, and this is the one part. And the second thing is that the government will, in China we have a tradition and history that's to concentrate the whole country's effort and investment to put into the mega project. We call the mega program. So for this 2020, that's 2020 plan, that's the government has also set up the 15 mega programs or called project, and we will use this like project driven. This is like one criteria for the every stage of the innovation value chain. So this is something new that's compared with before. So this is something I noticed that's what happens right now in this plan for me. Yes.
Okay, we are going to take a break right now.